This is a rare event. To have a work dedicated to commemorating a national leader is a kind of once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for an artist.
And when you apply for a commission, you don't know much. It's a job, it's how I earn a living. Looked interesting enough, and I applied for it.
His selection was a culmination of a kind of 12-month process that commenced in 2017 with an international call-out. Walter was invited to make a submission, formal submission, and his submission was by far the most compelling.
And then you start to dig your way in, and you get more interested, and you get, invested in it. And then we won it. So then you think, oh, blimey, now we've got to do it.
His breadth of and sensitivity of understanding of the character of John Curtin was quite extraordinary. And the work that he proposed was incredibly concise and efficient in conveying the kind of messaging that was part of the brief.
He was a man all about society, a revolutionary socialist, a pacifist, a trade unionist, and that he was a thinker, and that maybe what would work would be something that spoke a bit about him as a thinker, hence the idea of putting his spoken word, his text into the work, but also something that encouraged the rest of us to do as he did, to think and to rethink and to reconsider and to go on reconsidering.
So what's interesting about this quote is it comes from a speech that commences with the words, "This country is at war." But John Curtin was already looking to the future beyond war, the future path to prosperity for Australia as a nation. He saw building this country as a mighty fellowship in which the health and prosperity of all was really assured by the contribution and effort of everyone.
Then we were looking at the idea of views. In order to create a view, you need to remove something, and once you've removed something, what do you do with what you've removed? And that seemed exciting.
John Curtin was very visionary in looking to the past and saying Britain has been really important for us from a strategic alliance point of view, particularly in wartime. However, he really said that was important then, but actually now we're located in the Pacific and the US is in the Pacific and they are more likely to come to our aid in wartime. That was actually very controversial at the time, and Winston Churchill in particular was not very happy. But I think to have that vision, to look at the past and say and acknowledge it was important, but actually this is where we need to go in the future.
So the water jet pierces through the brass, and it starts to cut, and it takes 7 hours, and it goes all around the lettering and cuts and cuts and cuts until it comes right back to the beginning again. This piece in the middle of the window is free and separate. The nice trick about it is that the lettering now inhabits both the window and this offcut. On one of these pillars, we have simply folded the offcut down and it becomes a bench.
Oh, that is so stunning.
The other 4 benches are going to go elsewhere. So there's an idea of going further and of giving and of sort of diaspora of this work.
I think universities are really invested in the future, and looking forward is really critical for us. We were named as a university after John Curtin for many of the attributes that John Curtin displayed. And I think that's part of the DNA and the culture that Curtin has. It is about tenacity. It is about tackling the difficult, about bringing people together around common causes and common initiatives. It's a great namesake for our university and has set us up wonderfully for the future.
And so it's very important that this artwork is located, you know, in the centre of what will be the most busiest part of the campus.
And one of the locations was the bus station. We kind of thought, the bus station.
This artwork is something that you actually walk through, so everyone who come into Curtin who travels by public transport will actually walk right through the middle of Walter's artwork.
But actually, the bus station works rather well.
I love this quote. The full quote is, "Above all things, the university must have a soul. In it, the divine spirit of service and sacrifice for service must pervade all its works." For me, this quote captures the most memorable aspect of John Curtin's character, a deep commitment to social justice. And as a university, our commitment to social justice, to making a genuine difference and helping to deliver a fairer and more just society for all, goes to the heart of our DNA as an institution, powerfully underpinning all that we've achieved and all that we aspire to be. So to have this quote feature as part of this wonderful sculpture will be an important reminder not only of John Curtin's tremendous legacy, but what we stand for as a university, both now and into the future.
I always felt that the university never had a place that grounded its entire kind of spirit and ethos. So I think this artwork is a great opportunity to be able to, you know, position itself as that grounding point where the story of the university and the spirit of the university is sort of manifest in this physical form.
I tell you what I think he would think. I think he would think, well, it's a bit odd, not sure if I like it, but I quite like the idea behind it. I think that's what he might think, and I'd be happy with that.